Hello everyone, my name is Kristen Salguero. Ever since I was a little girl, I've been obsessed with pets. Cats, dogs, you name it. I've always asked for a pet ever since I was able to talk, and thankfully, my parents did get me one. But the question is, where did I get my pet from? And the answer? The Animal Rescue Center. Adopting has been proven to be way better than buying animals because they live in terrible living conditions, and then home-bred animals are all about the money. They're bred specifically for the owners to make money off of them. If we adopt instead of buying animals from the stores, we would be able to save those animals that deserve a home. Today, my goal is to persuade you to adopt from shelters rather than shopping from stores by explaining the terrible conditions that those pets live in, examine how it all began, and consider how we can fix it and look at all the solutions we have. First, let us look at the problems. Conditions of animal shelters rarely ever take care of the animals and their needs efficiently. In 2020 alone, there was a list of problems reported, one of them being the lack of veterinary care. Each breed has their own health issues and has their own necessities that they need to survive and to live healthily. According to the DoSomething.org, 2.7 million dogs and cats were killed due to overcrowding. Overcrowding means that all the dogs are put into one room together and they barely have any room. If they're all together like that, then it's easier for disease to spread. And then the dogs, since there is no correct veterinary care, those dogs could lose their lives. Another problem stated by PETA is the cruel killing methods that happen in the animal shelters, such as euthanization. According to Petpedia, 733,000 animals were euthanized last year. Pets want to be loved, and if they aren't given a home soon enough, they'll be euthanized to make more space for the constant animals that are always going into the shelters. The third most common problem, according to PETA, is there's inadequate adoption screening. When trying to adopt my second dog, the animal shelter in Fullerton said that they did not have the dog that I wanted correctly run into the system, so I was unable to adopt that dog. About 2 months later, they told me that the dog was ready to be adopted, but I had already found another shelter that had their dog correctly run into the system. I was ready to give that dog a home, but I wasn't able to due to the lack of efficiency that the office had. Now we see why animal shelters are not a viable place to live. Now let's discuss how it began and why it began. People began backyard breeding solely to make money off of their pets. According to Faunalytics, puppy mills became popular in World War II in reaction to crop failures. It was encouraged by the government. Puppy mills were encouraged by the government because they could not provide money to their citizens, so they decided that their citizens would be able to provide the money for themselves off their pets. Farmers began to pack dogs in chicken coops and sell them in stores. Puppies sold in stores are seen as more desirable, yet constant breeding leads to poor genetics and health issues in puppies that are passed on from the mother. People usually want puppies more than older dogs. That's the appeal that's given by the pet stores. As pets get older, they're seen as less desirable by their owners. So most animal shelters have older dogs because they're either given up or left on the streets and have to be rescued. People go to pet stores for puppies. That's what people usually want. They want puppies. But older pets deserve love. They deserve the same love as babies because an animal is an animal. They're innocent and they deserve a life. Some people adopt animals as accessories and they don't care for the well-being of an animal. They drop the animals off at the shelter because they weren't actually prepared for the ups and downs of owning a pet and for all the cleaning or for all the necessary care that they take. According to ASPCA, 1.5 million animals are surrendered each year, at least 1.5 million. If someone adopts an animal and then surrenders it, the dog is left hopeless and anxious, and they may not want to no one might want to adopt the animal again because it's seen as not happy, or is that it's not happy and it's not going to be a good fit for their home. Someone could have given that dog a better life. Someone might have seen that dog and might have wanted it and actually truly cared for it and not just as an accessory and could have given that dog a better life. Now that we know how the puppy mills began and how they work, let us consider what that means for the animals and how we can help them. The most obvious solution is to adopt instead of shopping when you're looking for a pet. If you're looking for a pet, you can contact your local animal shelter or go to Petco or PetSmart when they host their rescue events. According to the Humane Society, when you adopt an animal, you make room for more animals to be saved. All adoption fees go back to the shelter that you bought them from, and they're used to take care of those animals and to try and fix those conditions that are already in. If you are unable to adopt, another option is to foster. You could care and train for the dog for a short period of time until an official adopter would be able to adopt that dog. Or maybe you would end up loving that dog or cat and realizing that you do want a pet, and then you'll be able to keep that pet even after you already trained it. According to the One Green Planet, fostering helps prepare for adoption. It helps that dog or cat overcome the fears and trauma they may have experienced when being dropped off at the shelter. Another option is to donate food, toys, or any supplies that the animals might need for hygiene or for first aid. ASPCA commercials are always on the TV, and you see those sad dogs when they're asking for donations. According to the Mail Tribune, 80% of the donations that are actually made to ASPCA are used for the animal supplies, and then the other 20% is to advertise those animals so that people could know more about how they're available for adoption. Today, so far, we have discussed the problems, the causes, and the solutions. Now let's review why we need to act today. I'm not saying that the animals in stores don't deserve a home, but the animals in shelters live in worse conditions than those in stores. First, I discussed why animal shelters are not suitable to take care of animals. Then we looked at how puppy mills began and how they were made for money and not actual for the care of animals. And then finally, we discussed what we can do to make a change in our communities. I myself have rescued 4 dogs in my lifetime, and I wouldn't trade them for anything. I love them. I've loved them with my whole heart. Right now, I have 2 dogs that I have rescued. It is important to do something now because every day an animal loses their life. An innocent animal loses their life. Many pets are waiting. Take a chance on one, and maybe you'll find your furry best friend for life. Thank you.